Well, good afternoon. This noon period, we're going to take a look at time management. There's lots and lots and lots and lots of things that can help you be a more successful student and help you to excel with this new life of learning. And we try to get done as quickly as we can in these workshops and in DE 101. And one of the things that you really need to master quickly is your time management. It can make you or it can break you, how you use your time. So today we're going to look at the topic of time management, and we thank you for taking your time just to come and to visit with you, because we know it's very, very valuable. Well, lots of people will say that they don't have enough time to manage their time. They just don't have enough time in the day to get everything done that they need to accomplish. Well, we know that one of the first things that we want to do is spend some time in learning how to plan our time. If you're not managing your time is managing you, and you will be in trouble. If you manage your time effectively, it will help you to accomplish all that you have to do in your private life, your personal life, your home life, your school life, and get all those things that you have on your table accomplished in a timely fashion. But I don't have enough time to manage my time. And you may find that time is managing your life and taking control of you. If things are chaotic, welcome to my world. But guess what? You can keep those things in some semblance of order and accomplish everything that you've got on your plate. You ever notice that if you're part of an organization and there's something that needs to be done and it needs to be done quickly and effectively, they don't take it to the person who has nothing to do. They take it to probably the most busy person on the staff, because that person has mastered time management, and they know that they can trust them to get it done. So if you master time management, you can bring some order to your life, and hopefully things will happen in an orderly fashion and in a very well-managed fashion. Managing your time can help you to reduce your stress and anxiety. Come on in. And we all know that being a student has its stressful moments, right? And that's because of all the deadlines. It's because of so many new things that you're getting involved in, and so many new demands that are being placed on your life. So if you can manage your time, it helps to reduce that stress and that anxiety. There's some basic things that you want to remember when it comes to time management. First off, we'll assume that all of you are the average person, and that you need basically 7 hours of sleep a night. The newest studies are telling us that we should be getting 8 hours. But we'll assume that we'll all stick to 7 hours of sleep a night. So if we're getting 7 hours of sleep a night, then we can assume that we have 17 hours left in each day to accomplish all of the things that are on our plate. We all have the same amount of time, 119 hours a week. That's all there is that we can plan to use. And if we plan and use those effectively, it'll bring a lot of order to our lives. The thing to remember is you cannot put more than 5 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound box. All that means is you can't cram more things into your week than you have time available to accomplish. So as we go through this idea of time management and getting a handle on our time, there's some things that we want to collect, and we do this symbolically today, but you want to remember to gather these things together when you begin to effectively use a calendar. You want to first think in terms of all the things that you have to accomplish, all the things you have to do. So you want to gather a list of things that are out there that you know are going to be things that you have to do. So you'll get your syllabuses from your classes. You look through your syllabuses and you begin to look for things that are are coming due on the syllabus, papers, when tests and quizzes are coming up. You want to look at homework that we do on your syllabuses. You want to look at your work schedules. Some of you are working jobs as well as going to school, so you want to know when you want to work. If your work schedule is constant, that's great. But if it shifts from week to week, you want to look at it every week to see what your work schedule is going to be so you can get it on your calendars. You want to list a plan of all your planned activities, trips you may know that you're going to take with the family or on your own, conventions, plays, concerts that you may be wanting to attend. Anything that you've got on the horizon that's coming up, you want to put on a list and put your date down with it. You want to gather those things that you have to do with your family. You may have family reunions yet this year. Last weekend was a great weekend for family reunions. You may have some more of those coming up. You may have family birthday celebration, anniversaries, anything like that that you've got coming up that you're going to be celebrating, or things that you need to do with your family, soccer games, basketball games, football games. You want to make a list of those as well. Then you want to take all these things and create a master calendar. At one time in my life, I was working with 3 different calendars. I'm now technically down to 1, although I keep it in 2 places. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. So you want a master calendar, and for your purposes, you might find that your master calendar ought to be a semester calendar, so that you can look at everything a semester at a time, so that it kind of is in sync with your student life. So your calendar right now would have started August 1st, then will run through December 30th. And then your next semester calendar will begin on January 1st and run through the end of May. When you've got that, what you want to begin to do is begin to plug all those things that you gathered into that calendar. And just begin to write them in on the dates that they're due. When you do that, you'll begin to see that how busy your semester really is. There'll be a lot of open spaces because we've not gathered everything yet. We've gathered all the big events, but we haven't gathered everything yet. You want to begin to think about the amount of time that each of those events will take. I said I have one calendar, but I have it in 2 places. I have one calendar. I have an Outlook calendar, and I have it on my phone, and I have it on my computer, and I can synchronize it. So if I make an entry on the phone, I'll know that it will wind up on my computer because I'll synchronize it later in the week, so that I can carry my calendar now with me anywhere I go. Now I've done that for years, but I started out with a Franklin planner, and I went to a day planner, and I went to the big planners and the monthly calendars, and what I found was sometimes I was in places where I really didn't want to carry a big, bulky calendar. For your purposes, the student planner works well. If you're not already using a calendar or a planner, you should have picked one of these up from Master Advising. If you did not, please stop at Master Advising and see if they still have them. I think I have 2 left over in the office. If you don't have one there, and you're first to get to me, I've got 2 of them. But you can use these. These are set out on the semester, and they also have some information in there that you ought to have, and drop dates and things of that nature, and rules and regulations that you might want to have available as well. But you want to begin to write all that stuff down. You want to begin to estimate the amount of time that it takes to do it, and we'll begin to enter that in on the calendar as well. The hard work is already done. Gathering this information is the hard part. Okay. Once you've got that master calendar created, and again, this one works well for you because it also then can be used as a weekly calendar. This has a week at a time in it as well. Your student planner does. So you want to begin to look at a week at a time. When I bring my calendar up at my desktop, what I look at is a 7-day period at a time, beginning with Sunday. Now, you can set them up differently, but mine works well for me beginning with Sunday. So then you begin to take all that information that you put in on your master calendar and you begin to lay it out on a weekly schedule. And as you begin to do that, you want to begin to enter in other things that that you'll be doing, that you need to do, but they have not appeared on that master calendar. You begin to look at the things that are secondary and important. You've already listed the things that are most important, that have to do's and all that. Then you begin to plug in things like your laundry, and some even go to the point of bracketing out their meal times. If you eat, I have a friend who eats dinner every day at 6 o'clock. Well, I'm not quite that regulated, but this person is. So they could actually go to their calendar and block out their meal time. If you're that regulated, congratulations, I'm not. But you need to remember that you need to allow time to eat. Even during the middle of the day, like today, you may have booked your lunchtime while you're in here. You should have brought it with you and eaten while you were here, but you need still to have that time allotted and accounted for. So you want to begin to list those kinds of things: laundry, trips to the mall, or to Lexington or Cincinnati or wherever you may be going. Next, you want to begin to estimate the amount of time that it takes to accomplish those goals and begin to block that on your calendar. It's one thing to list all these things, study time, sleep time, whatever, television time, but then you need to be able to bracket the amount of time that those take and actually block it out. I work in 30-minute increments usually, so if I'm thinking something's going to take me 45 minutes, I usually will block out an hour for it. But you want to begin to estimate how much, the amount of time that you need to allot for each of those tasks, and block that out on your calendar. This skill becomes more and more useful the more and more you use it, and the more and more you hone it. I don't know how it is with you guys, but every now and then my wife gives me a project to do at home, and I always tell her it's going to take more time than you think it will. Because there's always little things that pop up. If you're going to change a washer in your sink, you need to allow not only time to replace that washer, but probably to replace half the pipe and go get the new pipe and on and on and on. Because sure enough, something's going to break and you're going to have to replace more than you thought you would, or it will take longer. So you'll get better at estimating time the more you do it, and the better you are at it, the better you have control of your calendar and your time. So you want to begin to fill in that blank week and do that on a weekly basis. You want to put in your class time. As I mentioned, you want to block out study time. If you can block out the same time every day for study, that's great. Many of you won't be able to do that, but if you block it out anyway, even at different times of the day, and then you adhere to that, you'll find that your study time goes much, much better, and you'll be accomplishing more even as you study those designated times. But you put everything on that. Put your classes, your lunch, your drive times. We forget about the time that we spend in our vehicles or on the bus trying to get to and from school, or to and from the grocery store, or to and from our workplaces. That's time that we need to allot. Now, once you've done all those things, and you've got all these necessary and essential items on your calendar, if you have more blank spaces than you have, if you have blank spaces left over, then you can begin to celebrate. That means that you have unused time on your calendar, and you've still got less than 5 pounds in that 5-pound box. But as we even work with our calendars, even with the things that we've already got on, we need to begin to prioritize and look at the absolute things and know what we need to do first and when we need to do it. If we have more things on our calendar than we have blank spaces, prioritizing becomes even more important, and we need to get better and better and better and better at it. Well, once we've done that, we've got all the essential things on our calendar, the classes, the eating, the sleeping, the laundry, and the kids and whatnot. We find that there are other things that need to go on there that we haven't put on it yet that are secondary. So we begin to create a secondary list and begin to plug those things in. We make sure that we get all those in, and then we begin to look at the following week. One of the things that you also learn to do as you work with your calendar is a to-do list. I don't have a slide on it, but a to-do list can be a very, very, very helpful item. Because what you do with a to-do list is every morning you look at your calendar and you see the things that you have to do and you prioritize them. And those things that are number one priority or a priority or how you do it are the things that you concentrate on first. And those are the things that you put the most time to, or you allot the most time for. And you take care of those things, and then you move on to the secondary or the B, and right on down the list until you get them all done. The things that you don't get done, you forward to the next day's to-do list. And then you prioritize those the next morning along with the new items. You keep doing that every day, and eventually everything gets done, or the things that didn't need to get done in the first place will eventually fall off your list because of the time frame in the spot. So to-do lists are also very, very helpful as you begin to control your time. As you work with your to-do list, one of the things that you may find is that as you add things from your syllabus, or you know that you have due dates that are way out in the semester, you may want to tickle your file and put a start date on your calendar so that you remember not to wait to the last minute, as someone said they did earlier, so that you begin to research in a timely fashion, maybe 2 weeks before the paper's due. Then you do your rewrite and your draft and rewrite, and then you write the paper, and then you hand it in on time. You break those things down into steps and into segments so that you can control it and get everything accomplished in a proper amount of time. We talked about estimating your time. The more you do that, the better off you'll get. We talked about prioritizing the list from most important to least important. That's on your to-do list. And then you, again, place the items on your schedule, and you are able to fill up those blank spaces that we have. If you still have more space open, more time available, then you are blessed. That means that you found that you can do lots and lots of things in the allotted amount of time that you have and still have downtime. The last list that you want to make is the list of things that are neither critical or all that important, but the things that you just want to do. Things like perhaps watching TV, things like going to the movie, things like hanging with your friends on the banks of the Ohio to fish or something, or picnicking in the park. Things that if you didn't do, life would still go on and still be of some high quality, but things that you just like to do and want to do. You want to begin to put those on your calendar too. You actually want to put in your recreation time on your calendar. It's important that we do that because it's important that we get our downtime. When we interview you guys for Student Support Services, one of the things we ask you is, do you have any hobbies? What do you do for yourself? It's important that you do something for yourself, otherwise your stress levels will get out of hand and wreak havoc in your study life and in your time with your family and everything else. So if you're doing things for yourself, even if it's only 15 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day, you'll find that you're going to have a happier career as a student, and people will be able to deal with you better. So you want to put that in on your calendar. My time, or time to crochet, or time to fish, or golf, or hunt, or whatever it is that you do, walk or run, or dream about it, whatever. Put that on your calendar, and when the time comes to do it, you want to do it. Now you also want to build in some downtime or free time, just unscheduled time, because nothing goes smoothly. Things are always happening, popping up unexpectedly, and you need to be flexible in your time management to handle those kinds of situations. Tires will go flat, cars will quit running, pop quizzes will be announced, study groups will have to convene at a different time. Things will happen that you just need to be able to adjust to. And if your schedule is jam-packed, your sleep plus that 117 hours from start to finish, then you don't have any wiggle room. And you need some wiggle room, or your stress levels will go right out the windows again. So build that into your calendars. As you begin to work the process, you want to be able to adjust your thinking. So you want to be able to look and see where those places were where you either over or underestimated the amount of time that was necessary. You want to make those adjustments in your calendar as you go forward. You want to track what works best for you, and you want to begin to integrate that into your plan. Some of you are morning people. Some of you are not. Some of you are night people. Some of you are not. So if you work better at night, then that's maybe when you want to schedule the heavy-duty items, the deep thinking items, the deep reading items. If you work better in the morning, that's when you want to schedule those items. So you want to know what kind of person you are, what works best for you. Remembering always to do those little things, like the 10 or 15 minute breaks every hour while you're studying or reading. Build that into your calendar, make that a part of your calendar, and you'll find that you're beginning to control your time, and your time is not controlling you. And once you've done a full week, you go on to the next week, and you continue that process, working off of that master calendar. There are some tricks to know that will help you in this whole process, and one is if you can leave a few hours open each week. We talked about that. You want to be able to do that because you just can't predict everything. There will be all kinds of things that will pop up in your life, and you want to be able to adjust for those. And if you've got time built in your calendar, you can take care of that sick child without wrecking your calendar. That also helps your stress level. Learn what works most for you, best for you, days or nights. I mentioned that. You'll find that you're wasting less time when you do that, and you'll be more effective in your output. Schedule tasks at times you will be most effective in that particular kind of task, even down to scheduling the classes. When I only teach one class a year now, in the summer, and it starts at 8:30. It starts at 8:30 because I'm not an 8 o'clock person. So it would be senseless for me to start that class at 8 o'clock because I probably wouldn't be here. So I started at 8:30. It's published at 8:30. We get done, I think it goes to 11 or 11:30, something like that. So it's a great class. But if I started at 8 o'clock, it would be terrible because I would be terrible. So you schedule your classwork the same way. If you're an 8 o'clock person, you can be here at 8 o'clock. You're up at 6 o'clock every day, and you're charging out the door at 6:15. Then go ahead and get that 8 o'clock class. But if you are dragging and running across the parking lot at 8 o'clock or 7:59, you probably ought to look at a 9 o'clock class or get in that class later in the day. So you adjust your schedule accordingly. Some people think that if their schedules get jammed, that they can gain more time by sleeping less. And that's true, but you probably are giving up effectiveness, so that in the long run, and in the balance, you're actually losing. Try to get 7 hours of sleep every night. Try to get 7 hours of sleep every night. Try to get 7 hours of sleep every night. Some of us will need 8 hours. In the long run, you'll be better off if you do that, and you study faster, you'll read faster, you'll comprehend faster, because your mind and body will be more rested. We've got one student in the program that tells me that they've been working on with 4 hours of sleep a night for years. God bless them. I couldn't do that. I'm getting to the point where 7 hours of sleep is just barely making it for me. But I'm telling you, if you don't cut in on your sleep time, in the long run, you'll be much, much better off. Find other ways, other places to pick up that time. Cut other things if you need to, but not your sleep. If you have big projects coming up, it's wise to be able to break those down into small bites and work from there. The process that we talk about mass time, where you put everything off into one time. You try to do that whole big project all at one time in one big mass of time that's set aside. They call that the stick method. And then the other method is by spacing your time out, breaking a project into smaller parts, and bits and bytes, and spreading it over a period of time. And they call that the carrot method. They call it the carrot method because you can reward yourself for achieving different tasks out of that big task along the way. There are advantages for spaced time. One is that the task is broken into smaller bites, more manageable, less stressful. It leaves time for you to review the work and to make corrections. Another disadvantage to spaced time is some tasks do require a large block of time set aside, a big period of time set aside to work on it and concentrate on it all at one time. And most are not that way. Most can be broken up into smaller parts and spaced out. When you wait until the last minute to be motivated, you are motivating yourself with fear. That's why they call it the stick method. This will not be effective in the long run. You'll find people who will wait to do their English papers the night before the paper is due, and they say they work well under pressure. My theory is they get it done, but they could have done much better if they would have taken time to research it and do a pre-write and a rewrite over a period of time. So if you got a B on it, you probably would have gotten an A. If you got a C on it, you probably would have gotten an A or a B. So waiting to that last moment, procrastinating, putting things off that we don't like to do until we absolutely have to do them, doesn't work. It's much better, much healthier, much wiser to let yourself break these things into smaller pieces and use that carrot method and reward yourself as you accomplish these management parts. Okay, we're almost through. This presentation was provided to you to give you a number of ideas to help you manage your time. Hopefully, you'll take the ones that will help you and you'll discard the rest. If a to-do list works well for you, use that to-do list. If one weekly calendar works better than having a master calendar and a weekly calendar, use just the weekly calendar. But use something to help you see what you've got to do when you've got to do it and help you to stay on track. And I think you'll find that your life as a student will be much more rewarding, much more relaxed. Parts of this presentation come from a presentation that was created by Dr. Donald Rosen, Director of Texas Women's University Counseling Center, and is meant for educational purposes only. We, your SSS group, thank you for your time, and we hope that you find something here that will help you to achieve your goals as a student at Maysville Community and Technical College. Thank you for your time.